Hello there people, my name is William.
I am Sean.
And we're doing another movie review. We're still back to older movies, but this review is one of my favorites, actually a good movie, and it's John Carpenter's The Thing, which was made in... the year was here somewhere. 1982.
Huh, alright. We don't really have a theme for these, it's just like, hey, this seems like a cool movie, let's watch that, and then we watch it and we talk about it.
Yeah.
So.
Like, hey, let's do Meet the Robinsons, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's called The Thing. Again, a movie I've seen that he hasn't seen.
Yep.
But it was one of my favorite, like, I'm a creature movie fan. One of my favorite horror suspense creature movies, whatever. So you start with your first impression of the movie.
It was pretty good. It reminded me of an episode of The X-Files, and I think it was mostly just the whole setting. I'll get into that in a second, but it reminded me of an episode of The X-Files, and that one episode of Invader Zim where he wants to get as many organs as he possibly can. So, yeah, that's what it reminded me of. And it was pretty good. Your feelings on it? Have you already done your feelings?
Yeah. Well, I do really love this movie. I'll try to remember my first impression of this movie when I first saw it. I'm trying to think, how old was I? I think I was 18, 19, maybe 20, I don't know. All I know is it was either me, a freshman. No, I've seen it when I was in college again. I think it was senior year of high school when I first saw it, and I was terrified when I first saw it. I was kind of terrified, and the noises. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it because it's one of my favorite movies because especially for a 1982 movie, they're not using CGI really at all. Like puppets.
They didn't have CGI available.
Well, still, even some people do nowadays, and it's terrible. But they use all makeup, all puppets, all effects, all painted stuff like puppets, like fake skin, and it's really cool looking. And the one thing I tell everyone about this movie that come to see it, the noises or screeching the thing makes is like really creepy and cool. And I still to this day have not heard anything close to that or as creepy as the noises this thing makes, which is really cool about this movie.
Fun fact, Nate makes that screeching noise all the time. I don't really know why.
Nate, when he goes...
But the high-pitched one. But that's just your fucking Yoshi thing. Anyway, that's not important. That's a good point, though. Like, a lot of these old 80s, like, horror movies and stuff, they hold up better than the new ones, just because...
they try.
Yeah, like, well, not because they try, but, like, they didn't have as much available, so they just kind of made it as interesting as they possibly could. Like, the effects as interesting as they possibly could with what they had. Now, like, any idiot can make a horror movie in Sony Vegas or whatever.
Like,
so
if it has CGI, it doesn't mean you should use it. I mean, they didn't have CGI, but, like, the movie, if they would have made it all CGI, it would have been a shit movie. Because it would look so shitty. But, like, they have the effects to do that. Hire people who could do it correctly and do it correctly. Which is why this movie succeeded to me. Compared to other people who are just like, hey, it's just CGI because we're lazy. We don't want to spend hours painting and creating these things.
To the point we are now, like, even good CGI doesn't look, like, real yet. So, whatever. Anyway, that's probably enough about the effects or whatever. So...
okay. So, basic plot of the movie.
This is where we're getting into spoiler territory, I believe.
Yeah. So, spoilers, if you don't want to hear about this movie. But, I'm not going to throw any spoilers. The basic point of this movie is, it's a U.S. Research crew in Antarctica studying. They've been here for like maybe a month or 2 or 3 weeks, and there are Norwegian people after this dog shooting at it for some reason. And then the U.S. research team wants to figure out why this Norwegian guy went crazy to kill this dog. And then they get more into detail and find out there was something in the ice, the thing, and that tries to attack and kill everyone. That's the basic, non-spoilers I can get to it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That actually reminded me of something, like, okay, we're getting into spoilers now. Kind of spoilers. This is like 15 minutes in spoilers, but still spoilers nonetheless. When the dog, like, they put the dog in the kennel and then it starts like trying to transform into the other dogs. It was already a dog. Why does it have to transform into other dogs?
It wasn't doing that. It popped up to itself. It was trying to put its DNA into the other dogs so the other dogs could transform. And then after doing so, it was trying to transform itself and back into a dog, I was figuring.
Oh.
So like
okay.
after it got out and infected the dogs it attacked, I think it was trying to recall itself back into a dog.
Oh.
That's what I figured it. Because I figure they can't really attack people and do things until they pop out some kind of the true form out there. But then they have to reform back into it.
That would make sense. Alright. So yeah, that kind of explains it. I didn't get its motivation for not being a dog. What else do I have to say about this movie? What is there to say about this movie?
Oh, what is there?
Alright, pace. I'll get onto that, because, it was okay, but I feel like they could have summed it up easier. That could be because it reminds me of the one episode of the X-Files, but still, I don't know, it just felt a little draggy. Doesn't help that I'm like super tired right now, so
he's not tired, he's just lying.
Can't pay attention to things.
You should have took notes.
No, I was too tired to take notes. I don't know, what else do we do in these things?
I don't know, we tried to talk about the movie more, things we liked about it, things we didn't like about it.
Yeah, we already talked about the effects, I liked those. I didn't like how it dragged.
No dogs were harmed in making this movie. I hope.
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't know if it said it in the credits, but it probably did. I didn't watch all the credits. The Norwegian guy in the very beginning was in a lousy shot. I realize he's trying to hit a small target that kind of blends in with the area or whatever.
I guess it's moving very high winds and snowy weather.
Yeah, from a moving helicopter or whatever. It wasn't that snowy yet, and I don't think it was that windy, but they were really close to that dog. They were flying right over it, and he's hanging out the helicopter. He's got the gun basically right to the dog's face, and he still misses.
Yeah, I think it was more him terrified too. That might have played a factor in it too.
Maybe, but I don't know. And then they get to the camp, they're not even in a helicopter, and he shoots the guy instead. So
no, he had shot the dog with the guy's foot. The dog. He shot and the dog jumped away.
It hit his leg.
Yeah, I know. The dog was on his leg and up. So if the dog was on me, he was shot right in the middle of the dog.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I get it, but
yeah, stereotypes for people who survive the end.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah. No, we're pretty well into spoiler territory.
How do you interpret the ending?
The very end, just I don't know. I always assume that there's another one. I always assume that with all of these things. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
How about what's his name? No, it's not Doc. Shoot, what's his name?
The one that was building the spaceship?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he was
Blair.
There we go.
Blair. Now, what do you think of what Blair's deal is?
I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know. I could probably make something out of the whole spaceship ordeal if I looked into it a little, but I don't know. I'm too tired to look into it right now.
Well, I feel like Blair, I don't know what Blair is. I don't think he's one of those names, because he's the one who kept trying to keep everyone.
I was just checking the time.
I don't think Blair is one of them. Per se because he was one who first destroyed all the stuff, so no one can get out.
Yeah.
But like, did one of them get to him who was in there? I don't know if they did or not. Or was Blair one of them from the beginning? Or was Blair a different kind of one of the aliens?
That would be meta, like he was a different alien that stowed away on the spaceship and then he was trying to beat the other aliens or whatever. I don't know.
Which could be true.
Would be meta. That's a really, really long way to go. Again, this reminded me of an X-Files episode, so I feel like that's why I'm taking that there.
People who you expected were infected, but were you correct or wrong about who you expected was infected?
I couldn't even keep up with that. Like, there were a lot of people, so I had a hard time, like, learning all of their names and stuff like that.
By looks, I mean, you saw the person where you're like, I feel like he's infected, or he is, or he isn't.
Are we talking like racism and stuff?
No, like when you saw someone, you're like, I bet you he has it in him, or he has it in him, or he doesn't have it in him.
I normally try to do that, but I just couldn't today. So yeah, I didn't really get too into that.
Yeah. Well, it was really good. I don't know how long we've been filming for.
Was it 18 when I looked?
Really?
Like 18 minutes left.
Oh, that's not bad then. 18 minutes left. So how long is that recording for?
10 minutes.
That's not a lot at all.
Yeah.
That's why I have to take notes, because then you know what to fucking say. Then we can't do a review.
Well, I was half asleep, so yeah.
Want this to be a short one then?
It could be. Why don't you do a couple more thoughts? Because I feel like
I don't have any more thoughts really.
How do you not have any more thoughts? You've been going on about this movie for
decades.
Yeah,
not decades, for like a week. I've been talking about the effects and everything that I kept telling you how you can feel about it, about how you react, how you feel about it.
No, we already went into the effects.
Yeah.
So apparently we'll just like it for the effects.
Like it for the story too. We might also play the game play the game later on.
Yeah.
And then we'll do after the game is finished, we'll do a review of how we felt the game stacked up to the movie.
That would be a good idea. Too cool.
Yeah, so I think we'll just end it early. This guy's tired.
Yeah, I'm like half asleep right now.
Okay. And we'll give a rating in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So,
good idea.
Out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 10.
I would give this movie 8 out of 10. I love this movie a whole bunch, but like always those things where it's not amazingly perfect. I love this movie a lot. I still feel like I'll give it like an 8 out of 10.
I think I'd have to go with like a 7, probably. The suspense was good, but it was a little like just dull at points, and that's, I don't know, it's hard to get away with that in a thriller movie. Again, good effects, good, okay story. So it was alright, but yeah, it was just kind of lacking in certain areas.